I never asked you this, but so when your mom passed, you still had to take care of the apartment? You was still living there, or?
When my mom first died, my Uncle Carlton lived there.
Okay.
You know, because I was like 16.
Oh, okay.
And then when I went to boarding school when I was 17, I put myself in boarding school. And then when I came back, you know, it was like I'm 18 now.
You was getting that much money when you put yourself in boarding school?
Well, I didn't pay for it. I had a scholarship.
Oh.
I was that smart. See, what happened was I used to box in the boys club, and they always offered me a scholarship to go to boarding school. But when I went to boarding school for a summer, I was so homesick that it was like, I'm not leaving my mom's. You know what I'm saying? But then when my mom's died, and I hit the street, and you know, people that I grew up with started to like cross that line when they started to take lives. You know, I wasn't hard enough for that. Pause. I wasn't committed to the game to be killing niggas and shit. I didn't need it. I didn't need it for survival. So I was like, you know, my mom's did a lot educating me and making me aware. And I was the kind of guy that if I'm around and it's going down, you know, you got to be thorough in home. You got to be down.
You definitely could see, just me knowing you over the years, that she definitely prepares you mentally for a lot of things that you faced in business. Mm-hmm, I could definitely see that, because like just knowing you, I've sat back and I listened to certain conversations you had with different people, and just even like when it comes to a disagreement about business, you don't allow it to change who you are in the midst of that. Even with your children, you're still a father no matter what's going on. You still, you know, good to your lady no matter what's going on. So it's like, that's something that's not, the streets don't give you that. That's formative years. That's in the house.
On my arm, I have a tattoo of my mom that says, "Thanks for making me the man I am."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't be the man I was if my mom didn't teach me how to be that. But the most important thing that she taught me was to be unapologetic about my point of view. So she's like, if you feel like you're right,
like that?
Hell yeah. Like my mom just was a hustler in a way. Like if she like, she used to sell clothes.
Right.
You know, and and I remember being young. And if somebody wasn't treating her the way she thought she should be treated, she was making a scene. She was arguing the same way I do. I got that from my mom's. She was
just really ready. She was ready at all times.
I learned not to be embarrassed by altercation in public. You know how people get crunchy behind that? They get embarrassed if, you know, something doesn't go right or you yell. I learned real young that, you know, you have to fight for what you believe. I mean,
my mother was.
It ultimately backfired on her because, you know, she taught me to speak up for myself. So I used to talk back, and I regret the disrespect in that. But my dad wasn't around as a man to teach me, don't talk to your moms like that. But it also made it where it was impossible for a teacher to chastise me. Like, I just didn't feel like, you're not my mom's, don't talk to me like that. I had an opinion. So I was always arguing with the teachers. I was a talk back kid. I know that's not.
So she wasn't really a disciplinary. She didn't like.
Oh no, I got disciplined, but not super disciplined. Like I was lightweight spoiled. Like I was known around 1199 as a spoiled kid, because my mom used to buy things wholesale. So for example, if she bought sneakers, she'd go to wholesale and buy 10 pair. It would be cheaper that way, but I would have 10 pair of sneakers. Now I'm talking about, I had 10 pair of sneakers when I was back in the day when niggas had 1 pair of sneakers. Right. I had 10. You know, I had
the laces out every other day and wash them.
No, I never washed nothing. I had 10 pair of sneakers. That's what it's all got. Fresh is not new to me. That's because of my mom's. I had a pinball machine in my room. So all the kids from the hood downstairs.
You had a pinball machine in your room in the 80s?
Yeah. I had a pinball machine.
That's like
stand-up pinball machine.
That's like
and not the wind-up one. I had the digital shit.
That's like different strokes and shit. Like, you know.
I'd have an Atari and I'd have like 100 games or 36. Like I have games galore. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I was always spoiled. You know what I mean? But not spoiled in a way where it was like, you know, I overreacted. It's just I got what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, that translates over into business too. It's like you demand what you really want.
But also she told me when you buy in volume, you get things cheaper. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So if you buy 10 pair of sneakers, you're gonna get them for half price, goddamn near, especially if you get it wholesale. Right. So she taught me also to cut out the middleman to get right to the connect.
Did you used to go with her shopping, like getting clothes? Yeah. Wow. I
used to do all that with her. That was, you know, you got to remember back in those days, a single parent, and that's everyone. Like it was like rare. You saw a kid that had both parents in the house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like a mother's relationship with their son, their only child,
especially son,
would be like best friend, damn near inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be like, that's not your boyfriend. You know, not to say we had anything funny like that.
It was always, but
just the way we talked, and you know what I mean. It was like I was more of an adult. You know, and I've seen that happen with other.
Where you had an open relationship with her, where you could talk to her about anything. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got beat. Don't get it twisted. I got the belt. There was a red belt that I used to be afraid of. You know what I'm saying? That used to put the whelp on me. But my mom just taught me a lot of the sensibilities that I have now. You know what I mean? Like if my mom was here, I definitely would not be the man I am because I was very dependent on my mom. So when my mom died, it made me be like, oh, I gotta go ahead and do what I gotta do. But I used to be like very relaxed because my mom would I would get kicked out of school. Like I don't know how I got into high school. I didn't finish the 7th grade. Right. She made a deal with them. Not the 7th, the 8th grade. She made a deal with them where if you don't go back to school, they'll just put me in. And I got into Manhattan Center, like an ill smart school. Yeah. My grades were 16s. I wasn't even after the 7th grade or 6th grade. I really checked out of school.
That's interesting how death, any loss can do that to you. Because that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me with my father. Because I was supposed to move to Cleveland, but he passed. And so I had to kind of fend for myself, make things happen. You know what I'm saying?
Get sharp. When you know you got to take care of yourself as a human, you adjust.
Absolutely.
Even if you're used to being taken care of, the minute you're not, if you got that in you, you're going to go ahead and make sure. I was hustling the next day. My mom's died the next day. I was on the block because I was so scared.
It was sudden, or she was in the hospital?
Nah, she had asthma. She was always in and out the hospital, but not a lot of people die of asthma. So she died of asthma. And the next day, I was outside. They're like, damn, your mom's died yesterday. It was more mental for me, but it was really my.
You was outside, basically,
No, I was on the stoop pitching. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was doing the next day. But it was almost where I was I gotta make sure I get my weight up because my father wasn't gonna take care of me, so I had to take care of me. So that's really what made me hit the streets so hard. Right. You know what I mean?
Man.
What are you laughing at?
I know they got questions.
What people are saying is funny.
What they say?
It's so mad at me, but they my camera angles.
He said, what?
Rocky's laughing. Put it on yourself, Rocky, real quick. That's who you be mad at her. She's the one doing it.
Who's doing the camera angles?
Yeah,
what are their questions?
Any questions?
Somebody wanted to know about your art gallery stuff.
What about it?
I don't know. That's all they said.
Is it still around? Or?
That's not really a question. I had an art gallery and I had a bunch of creatives. I've had them from in Tribeca, Lower East Side, in Charleston, in Hong Kong, in North Carolina. And, I always had a gallery so that people that work with me could showcase their point of view.
Right.
But having a building is a business within itself. So when you have a whole gallery, garbage costs money, electric costs money, so many costs. Everyone was getting paid. I had 6, 7, 8 employees all the time, and I wasn't making money. But when I wasn't making money, they still wanted to get paid.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's one of the places that I learned. Wow, people really just hang out with you when you're paying them. They'll be your best friend when you're paying them. But the minute you're not, they hate you.
You see them all the time. They're
like you could do 100 things for somebody.
Right.
100 good, great things.
Things that you think they would still look at and say, okay, I'm going to measure my relationship with you by this.
There could be, that shows the character of the relationship.
Right.
And then one financial thing could happen, and they show all their cards.
Oh, absolutely.
Now I'm a bastard, I'm a deadbeat, all this. I just paid, I could give you $250,000 straight, but I could be short 10 grand. And then all of a sudden,
just short 10,
2,500.
Right.
I ain't got 2,500. I just gave you my last 275. Oh, fuck you, dang this, that.
Whoa.
Damn, bro. What I paid you for, you ain't do for me. Why am I still paying? Oh, that's that. So,
I just know if you're getting back into the art game. If you're going back to Hong Kong, they want to know.
I might do all of those things, but right now I'm purely focused on the art of making films.
Okay. And somebody's asking about Sacred Reverie 3.
So can I answer the question for you asked a second? I didn't. How could I? If you interrupted me, how could I think I'm done? She hit me mid-sentence. How could you think I'm finished? Like I said, I'm focused on my art, my craft. I want to make money off me.
Right.
I'm sick of curating other people's art and selling it and them being mad or not mad or me feeling like they don't appreciate. I can't rob myself. And I am an artist. And I got to stand behind it. I want to put my chest, wear it all on my sleeve, and I want to be judged.
Right.
I want people to see my point of view, and I want to make money off me. And if I lose money, I want to be the one to lose my own money. I want to keep my destiny, me in control of my destiny as opposed to other people.
Right.
And that's what I've been doing. That's what Poppington is. That's what Dame Dash Studios is. That's what Dusko whiskey is. That's what, you know, everything. You know what I'm saying?
It's a great time in history right now where you can, I mean, it's like, man, branding yourself is like...
I've been preparing for this moment for the last 10 years.
Spectacular thing, man.
Like, I was like, I have to rebuild my brand because this brand, I can't make no more money with it. I can't give it to my kids. It's not about me. Look how everyone's carrying the situation. It's ridiculous. So it's like, you know what? I don't need to be funded by anyone. I don't want to be all big and shit like that, but not make a lot of money, but appear and perception-wise look big. I want to have solid businesses with that are lean, without a lot of debt, that are solely about my point of view, so that I can pass it to who I want, so I can work with who I want, so I can pay who I want. You know what I'm saying? And like, if someone's gonna be late and we lose money, it's gonna be me. You know what I'm saying? If someone's gonna not show up and decide that they don't want to do that for their career, it's gonna be me. If I'm gonna rob me, then I'm gonna rob me. You know what I'm saying? But no one else, you know, every single person that, besides Cam, and you know, it's really bugged out, but damn near almost every single person I put in business, you know, they've always resented me at some point, either for being better than them at what they do, or just the fact that I get money for the money that I bring to them. You know what I'm saying? Or that I get more attention than them on their own stage. It's always been like that. But it's cool. I don't care. You know, I prefer to be a
just them insecure. I mean, when you insecure, man. I mean, you know all these.
But most artists are insecure.
Yeah. Most people are insecure.
Most people are insecure.
Yeah,
yeah.
Most people.
And people that are secure are considered an asshole. It's just, you know, all right.
Yeah. What about State Property 3? You ever think you'll come around?
When the time is right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know exactly how I'm going to approach it. You know, I have to have a tolerance.
State Property 2 was just so dope, man. 1 and 2 was dope, but 2 was like a little more, it seemed like it was more pop, like it was manicure, right?
Well,
I
directed 2. That's why. I didn't direct part 1.
Had a lot of merch in there, I'll tell you that damn much.
Oh yeah, that's what State Property was. It was a tool. But again, what I do is if I have to work with someone about their point of view, I got to do something where my art is involved.
Right.
And I don't want to have to be on the road. Like, the music business is a rough business, but when you're in movies, it makes it where people see you. It's the platform that people see you the most. It's an easy commercial for everything, and it makes money forever. Like, I could turn on the TV right now and State Property Part 2 or 1 or Paid in Full will be on.
Right.
But to me, the movies are what I consider like an album. But I'm making the album, I'm making the movie, I'm the director, you know what I'm saying, I'm the producer. So just like somebody might make 4 albums a year or 1 album in the 4th quarter, I'm approaching the movie business just like that. So you know how Rockefeller is at least 4 records a year? With Dame Dash Studios, at least 4 movies a year starting in September.
Right.
And they gotta be
4
good.
records a year was like the model that you guys always.
It was always more than 4 records. It was just making sure in that 4th quarter, we would always put out a J record in the 4th quarter. If you notice when the records would come out. September 11th was one time, but usually November. You know, around Thanksgiving. That last quarter is when everybody in business is getting ready to be up.
That was crazy when that album came on September 11th like that.
Yeah. The whole thing was crazy because we were in the air. Well, the night before I was in the air going to LA, and I almost got off that plane and would have been on that plane because it was delayed. And I was I took a sleeping pill and woke up, and we were still on the ground. And I was like, "Can I get off?" And they were like, "Well, if you do this, then," it was like a hassle. And I was like, "Fuck it." And I woke up the next day to that shit.
Oh man.
Another movie question. People are asking about Paid in Full Part 2.
Oh yeah, I'm making that.
Paid in Full 2.
That's getting made. Yeah, so I'm developing the script now. You know, I'm looking at Paid in Full like a franchise, and there's a couple of different stories that I want to focus on that were authentic and that affected me. So Paid in Full, you know, that story affected me. I saw it. I was there. And I think Paid in Full is so authentic and people can understand it and relate to it so much because the person that made it, which was me, was there. My eyeballs saw everything. I was there. You know what I'm saying? I was at the funeral. I was at the wake. You know what I'm saying? I was there. I knew, I was there. You know what I mean? The relationship, I was there. So I saw everything. You know what I mean? Or at least from my perspective. I could have easily made Paid in Full from my perspective. Not to say I was one of the guys doing it, but what it looked like from, a younger guy looking at the older guys and how it affected me. Because Paid in Full was what made me, that situation made me stop hustling. I quit once Rich got killed. Because I was like, if that guy can get touched, because he was the coolest, hands down in Harlem at that point, everyone was looking to him. If he could get touched.
He was a cool dude personality-wise. Like he definitely had a lot of swag. Pause. Yeah.
like whatever block, the block he was on, everyone on the block acted just like him. They all walk like him. They all, you know, had his mannerisms. You know, he was definitely a smooth dude.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. You know, Jay Black was really close to him.
Yeah,
my man Jay Black.
Jay Black, yeah.
Was like his little brother.
Paid in Full 2, Part 2. Wow.
Yeah, so I kind of don't want to let the hat out the bag.
Yeah.
But, you know, what I can say is, you know, Don Diva is a big part of it. You know what I'm saying? And some stories that come out of that. And then also, you know, people that I'm around, their siblings were a part of it. You know, I might have Part 2 and Part 3, but I'm developing Part 2 right now.
Was the lynch mob around at that time? Like, they was doing their thing then? Wow.
Yeah, they were. That's the block I was from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
where the lynch mob was from. So yeah, they were.
Because I saw the Fed, I don't know if it was Feds or Don Diva, one of those magazines, when you showed me the story, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah. The story, yeah.
The lynch mob was interesting because it was a situation where I could be on a block full of killers and not have to kill. You know, that's how I knew that you can make a choice. You know, I just.
Absolutely.
I mean, like in Harlem, you have to be thorough. It's not like you have to be tough, but everyone has to be ready to do what they got to do when it comes time to it, for it. But, you know, I wasn't that guy that was overtly running around toting a gun and wanting to shoot. You know, there was those guys too. But I could be around those guys and they respected me because I had respect for myself.
Wow.
And really because I was a funny guy, because I was kind of fly, you know, I was doing my thing. You know, not too many 16-year-olds had the max with the box kit and the gooseneck, you know, all that. But also because, you know, I could slap box, knuckle game. So a fair one and being funny and being fresh and playing ball, you got to pass in the hood if you play by the rules.
Wow. And Malik Yo was from your neighborhood.
Well, he's from 1199. See, I was born on the east side. 1199 is where I, you know, lived, but I hung out and hustled uptown. So I never really had to sleep uptown. It's really rough. It was rough up there. You know, it was like roaches and rats on one side. You know what I'm saying? It's like really, it's tough out there. But we would all, like the people that I hung out with would go back downtown and we would stay at 1199. 1199 was like, it still is, you know, it was like luxury in the hood. You know, we had houses with staircases in them, and they still do. We had like a second floor playground. We had indoor swimming pools. So I didn't live a very challenging life as far as that goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've chosen my challenges. My mother put me in a position where I didn't have to deal with the survival thing. I chose that because I wanted to live that life for a second, just so I could know what it felt like. And it also defined me. It made me feel more of a man. Yeah. But I was able to do the white boy life, go to boarding school. Yeah. I was able to do the music thing. I'm able to do the movie thing now. I did the fashion thing. I did the art gallery thing. It's like I like to change characters.
I know one damn thing. Harlem presents a lot of money opportunities for some reason. Like, it's just like that area. It's like
Harlem's fly, man. Yeah. You know, bottom line is they're about getting that money. Everybody dances. Everybody laughs. It's a lot of fun in Harlem.
Yo, this is Kenyatta with Hip Hop Motivation. First of all, I want to tell everybody out there, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing to our YouTube page. And if you haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to our YouTube page, make sure you do so. Stay in tune. We have a lot more to come. Peace.
Deciding from thoughts of being sick and tired of something, starting something, or admiring something can be the emotions that fuel change. Because write this down. Emotion leads to passion, passion leads to action, and action leads to results. Word up. Question: what's the #1 killer of dreams? If you said fear, you're wrong. Fear is on the list, but it's not the #1 killer. The #1 killer of dreams is comfort. The comfort of a good paying job or in an active relationship can seduce us for many years into the rhythm of accepting things without making any moves to change, further numbing us into a state of zombie-like passiveness. Write this down. Passiveness will cause your dreams to pass you by.
Dash thing. Nah, I don't want to chill out, bro. You know what I want to do? Believe in yourself. Build your own personal wealth. Then that becomes personal health. I think I'm rhyming. How about that?
Everything go down here. Just gotta, know what I mean, be a little smart.
right now.
I was in my groove.
Yeah.
I started daydreaming. I started thinking about something.
I'm a musician.
Yeah, exactly.
I like to spend all kinds of money. I like the dollar, I like the euro, I like the pound, I like the franc pause, I like the yen.